I went to the library the other day and 3 of the books that I got had the word dead in the title. And I'm like, oh, I'm sensing a theme here with books that I like to read. It wasn't intentional, it just kind of happened that way. Anyway, today we're going to talk about my past, present, and future of books, what I finished, what I'm in the middle of, and what we're going to get into. So recently I finished a book called Such an Odd Word to Use, Secrets Don't Hide, They Echo. That is by Goodwin. It sounded very intriguing from the synopsis. It said it's a quietly unsettling psychological mystery novella for the digital age where even silence may be scripted. It follows the story of this guy, Mark. He moves into this house that used to be a recording studio back in the day. He ends up having a rather weird neighbor named Alistair, and it feels like he's being watched or surveilled for whatever reason, and there's no reason that he should be. So it's really starts to creep him out when he first moves in. There's like, he finds like his light bulb unscrewed and just like sitting on the porch, and he's like, what is that? Why is that happening? Then it happens again. And the second time it happens, it looks like someone almost ripped out like the thing where the light bulb was in. And he's like, what the F? And then eventually he meets his neighbor, Alistair, who's like, your light was flickering and bothering me. And he's like, did you do this to my light? And Alistair's like, no, why would I do that? But I think obviously he was lying because he seems like a crazy person. But anyway, the whole premise of the book seemed pretty great. I liked the writing a lot. It's a very short book. If it hadn't been so short, I don't know if I would have finished it because it was, you ever read a book that has like, it's all flatline, like there's no peaks, there's no excitement, there's no highs or lows, it's just, okay, the end. And you're like, okay, I get, that's the most lackluster everything about this. And the only reason I kept reading is because A, it was short, but B, I did like the writing. I thought the writing was really good. It was just boring. And that was frustrating because it's like, man, the writing is very descriptive, very well written, but like there's no connection to the story. Nothing's pulling me in. The only thing keeping me going is that the words were all right, but yeah, not that great. Anyways, I guess I didn't really like that book. But I read the whole thing. So anyways, right now I'm in the middle of a book that I'm absolutely loving and adoring, and that is The White Octopus Hotel by Alexandra Bell. And I had grabbed this from the library. I didn't realize I'd read Alexandra Bell before, and one of the books that I read by her is one of my favorite, most magical books ever, and I didn't even realize it. So The Winter Garden is a book that is by this author that I absolutely loved and adored. And this one I just picked up because I liked the synopsis. It's like a time traveling, weird, magical story, and it involves this hotel. The hotel has all these different weird magical elements to it, and there's also like a darkness, and there's also like a mystery going on, and there was this artist that it was his home and he owned it, and then when that artist died, all of his art mysteriously disappeared, and there's this whole history of the hotel because it closed in like 1935, but yet you can still get to it if you get this key and go to a specific room, if you can find the room and travel back in time, and da-da-da-da-da. So it follows the story of this woman, Eve, and she deals with a lot of depression and has had a lot of just heavy things that have happened in her life. Her sister died when she was really young, and that kind of tore apart her family and set things on a strange path. And she's always kind of held herself back from relationships and people and all of that. She starts hearing about this White Octopus Hotel, and some mysterious chain of events happen where this older man comes and visits her and gives her this figurine of an octopus, and it sets her off on this journey to find the White Octopus Hotel and possibly to travel back in time, and we'll see what happens. And it's so magical so far, and it's so weird, and I love it. I love it so much. We're about halfway through it, and let me tell you, as my second experience of reading this author, her writing's magical, and I love it. So we'll see how this goes. I'm feeling there's going to be a standalone review coming for this one. Keep an eye out for that. And let me tell you what I'm going to get into. Here's some of the books that have dead in the title that I was mentioning earlier. First up, we have an author that I have really grown to like. The last book of his I read was Devils Kill Devils, which was a vampire book by Johnny Compton. Awesome. I loved it. I thought it was so freaking good. So this one is his newest, Dead First. And I picked it up without even knowing what it's about because I've liked his last couple books I read. I read The Spite House and I read Devils Kill Devils. And because I like those, I was like, okay, we're definitely going to read this one. Let's tell you about it. When private investigator Shyla Sinclair is invited to the home of the mysterious billionaire Saxton Braith, she's more than a little suspicious. The last thing she expects is for him to say he wants to hire her to figure out why he can't die. Scratch that. The last thing she expects is for him to prove it to her. Shyla can't help but be intrigued, but she's also trapped by the offer. Braith has made it clear that he knows he can trust her with his secret because he knows all about hers. And he is willing to expose her. A moody mashup of noir detective story and atmospheric horror. Dead First investigates ancient crimes that continue to haunt the living. Johnny Captain takes readers on a wild, terrifying road trip through the most haunted spots in Texas. And super stoked to read this. Like I said, I really liked his other books. I have standalone reviews for both of those, which if you have any interest, I'll link those down below in the darkness. You can check them out. Okay, so this next one, I was kind of drawn in, like, I liked all the like floral stuff going on the cover. And If the Dead Belong Here by Carson Faust. So when a young girl goes missing, the ghosts of the past collide with her family's secrets in a mesmerizing Native American Southern Gothic. And I do love me a good Gothic story. When 6-year-old Laurel Taylor vanishes without a trace, her family is left shattered, struggling to navigate the darkness of grief and unanswered questions. As their search turns to despair, Laurel's oldest sister, Nadine, begins experiencing nightmares that blur the line between dreams and reality. And she becomes convinced that Laurel's disappearance could be connected to other family tragedies. Guided by her elders, Nadine sets out to uncover whether laying the ghost to rest is the key to finding her sister and healing her fractured family. And then there's a little thing here that says, Carson Faust captivates. And then there's a little thing here that says, Carson Faust captivates in this chilling literary debut that confronts the specter of colonization and the generational scars it leaves on Native American families, steeped in indigenous folklore and drawing from the author's own family history. If the Dead Belong Here examines what it means to be haunted by both the supernatural and by the terrors of our own making. It says Faust crafts a powerful kaleidoscopic tale about the complicated legacies of violence that shape our present, the importance of honoring the past, and the resilience of a family and a people determined to heal from old wounds. And I thought that sounded like they'll be pretty good. So looking forward to If the Dead Belong Here by Carson Faust. All right, so now's the time in the video where I say what I'm most excited to get into or get back into and all this stuff. And it's definitely the White Octopus Hotel. Like I said, it's so magical. It's so weird. I'm loving it. What have you been getting into this week? Anything weird and magical or what have you? Let me know. Always curious. And if you enjoyed hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.